turn it on. But yeah, no, so we're gonna drop him off.
Music you're not going to get anywhere else. That's a band called the Faux Pas, Child of the Great Lakes, 11:13 the time. Welcome to the Mornings with Ed show on the all-new Voice of Laguna. Great Lakes, Michigan State.
Michigan State.
We have a ton of listeners in the Michigan area, and we may have an additional student. We welcome this morning. I'll tell you, I'll explain it all in a second. We welcome to the conversation as we do each and every Monday, and our always fascinating interaction with Dr. Anita Wang. She is a scientist, an emergency room surgeon, and a wellness practitioner with the greatest wellness facility anywhere up and down the coast. No kidding, and it's right here in Laguna Beach. Welcome, Dr. Wang. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Great to see you.
Nice to see you here.
We're talking Michigan State, and Michigan State University, and you are traveling there next week.
Yeah, we're gonna. Well, not next week. I think
the 18th.
The 18th.
The 18th. Okay, so the week after.
Week after.
All right.
Sending my boy off to school.
All right. And you know that we're talking about Coach Tom Izzo, and I totally admired that basketball program, and certainly Coach Izzo. And he spoke at the
Student Admitted Day.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
My husband and my son got to see it. I wasn't there.
Did you find? Okay, so did they find him impressive?
Yeah, no, I think they found it very, definitely rah-rah for the basketball.
Yes.
But if we're doing the family weekend, and football's big, so we're going to go there. But I was thinking, gosh, why didn't we get to see like Michigan University versus Michigan State? That would be a great game.
Yeah.
Or Boston, or all these other games. We're going to see the Penguins. So I don't know.
Oh.
So that's who we're signed up. But then I looked at the tickets for Michigan versus Michigan.
Right.
Oh my God, those tickets were. I'm glad we're watching the Penguins.
Yeah, you'd have to mortgage the house to see a Michigan State game. That's
Oh
pretty
my
much
God,
what
I
you gotta
couldn't
do.
believe it.
Yeah, they're expensive, but well worth the price of admission. It's the atmosphere is incredible.
So
Right.
I'm assuming we're going to do well. Sorry, Ohio, Youngstown. I'm assuming it's going to be a good rah-rah time, and we will be.
Good. All right. Well, we're glad to have you here. Thank you again for coming. We have a lot of things to cover, and kind of we're almost fishtailing off what you and I had spoken about last week. And I, without even knowing what we were going to talk about this morning, before you sent the email yesterday, I've been saying to myself for the last couple of months, I have been sleeping so well. Before my hip surgery, I wasn't getting good sleep at all. It was I really was getting horrible sleep, and I was feeling it. And every aspect of my life was being affected by my lack of sleep. I have in the last several months, though. I'm just killing it. I feel really great, and I owe it part to sleep.
Yeah, sleep. People don't realize it's not just a passive action, and that you're just there, close your eyes, and you're getting a rest. Things are happening. Things are, it's a dynamic process of what's happening with your body. You're clearing out the glia cells and the lymphatics in the brain. The hormones are shifting. Metabolism, you're detoxifying. All of this action that's going on. Your body worked hard. And that's why in the morning you need to hydrate, because it just ran that, like I always like to say, they ran a marathon all night long for you, doing all this work to make you, to restore and make you healthy and young, and clean out all that garbage I talked about last week. You got to clean out those zombie cells, the senescent cells. You got to have the autophagy working, and sleep is one of those. If all those people who don't sleep or insomniacs and things like that, yeah, it's an issue.
So insomnia, chronic insomnia, that actually, it can be deadly, right?
Yeah, it increases inflammation, causes a lot of mental illness, causes a lot of things going on. Right?
So is insomnia different than just being uncomfortable during sleep?
Yeah, I mean, insomniacs, basically, there's basically people who cannot fall asleep, right? So it's not where you're individually being awoken, that you just don't fall asleep, period. for whatever the reason is. If you got the monkey mind or whatever's happening, there's people who have disrupted sleep because they have to get up several times a night. That's why I use the MSella to help them build up their pelvic muscles, elevate the bladder, the urethra, get those pelvic muscles strong so you don't wake up at night, you're not leaking during the night. So that's one thing.
So the MSella is a machine that you utilize, and you have it at your wellness facility here.
Yeah.
It is state of the art, first of all, and again, I sell you as a scientist to everyone, and that's what you are. You've done the research on it, you know it works, and I'm actually a little shocked at how easy it is.
Yeah. You just sit there, fully closed, 28 minutes. You can work, read a book, anything you want to do. You're just sitting there and you're doing 11,000 kegels in 28 minutes. When you increase circulation and increase flow, that helps with PD function. So erectile dysfunction, patients who had total prostatectomies actually have benefits because they're having issues with their urination and things. That thing actually helps them.
Prostatectomy is the removal of the prostate. And once that prostate is removed, is there anything in its stead? Is there anything in its place that's just gone?
It's got gone.
Wow. Better in some cases.
Yeah, some people have cancer, so they have it removed.
Right. And again, fascinated by the M-Sculpt and the MSella, excuse me. Is that different from the M-Sculpt?
It's the same technology, but it's different in that the MSella is a chair that you sit on, so the magnets are sitting on those, and then the M-Sculpt is a paddle, and I place the magnets on whichever muscle groups you want to build up, or lose weight, or tighten the skin, or reduce or eliminate pain, or increase function and range of motion, or circulation. So it just depends, but it's the same technology, different paddles, and you just place them in different areas.
And I want to go back to sleeping for a second. I actually want to go back to sleep right now. Let's go back to the subject of sleeping. And if you're not dreaming, are you not in the right cycle of sleep? Or you're not getting enough sleep? There's something, those that don't dream, for years I thought, well, I just don't dream. Or maybe I don't remember the dream, I'm not sleeping deep enough. Are you sleeping deep enough if you're not dreaming?
I think that, now that we have wearables, I think those are good technology to see. And then, you just, whether you wake up refreshed or not, is a big key. I think when you're sleeping deep enough and then you remember your dreams, I think that when you dream, we know that you're in REM sleep, right? But you could be in deep REM sleep and not have recall. So I think that it's also a mental thing. I know that some patients have said, I didn't think I slept well until I had my wearable, and it tells me I slept 98%. I feel so good just knowing that, right? Because they were worried about, I'm not getting my sleep, am I? So certain people need to have that data, have that facts, and some, because they are not intuitive and can't read their body or know what's going on. So you just have to be aware. So if you're intuitive and you know how you can wake up and you're like, I didn't sleep well last night, right? You just know the signs. Some people, they're like, I get up, wow, I feel great, I slept really good. And some people, I don't know, did I sleep last night? I have energy, I'm not too sure, or they're just not in tune because their mind is off in somewhere. And then wearables is good feedback data that it tells you. And then this guy said, yeah, I would say, I thought I didn't sleep well, and I look at it and like, oh, and then I just felt better afterwards, right? It's the way you think, it's the way you feel. So if you think you're not sleeping, how do you think you're going to feel? You're not going to feel well.
You will feel like you were sleeping with that truck that was just backing up here. You're like, you know what? I think I had that truck for 5 years under my bedroom window. That's pretty much what happened. And I'm kind of a little, I know when I wake up. Like, for instance, this morning I woke up. The last several mornings I've woken up, I feel great. I know I slept well. But I still love, we have a smart bed, so we can test, I know that I got a 93 and a 91 this past. So I know the scores, and that just solidifies my feeling.
Yeah, it makes you like, right? It just locks it in there because the brain is so powerful. Right? So that is part of all of this also of the wellness and longevity is that mental attitude of how you are. So that's one of the 4 pillars I talk about, right? The food, mood, right? Move and restore. So mood, you just have to have that right attitude. If you wake up and say, I'm gonna have a horrible day, and this is just sucks, and it's just like you're a downer.
Right.
Yeah. But if you go like, it's another day, I'm alive, it's great, I slept good, and you just like on top of the world. Yeah, people are gonna throw things at you to bring you down, or things. So you just have to. So I think you just have to know who you are. If you wake up and you say, I slept 4 hours, but they are such good 4 hours, I feel good. Or you say, I slept 10 hours, I don't know if I slept well until I look at my thing. Right? You just have to know, and that's a little education and just knowing. So because you have to use that brain power. It's so useful.
You've mentioned on many occasions of not eating right before sleep, and that's never a good thing. How much time should pass between the last time you eat and when you go to sleep? And exercise before sleep, does that make the heart pump? And does that make it harder to sleep?
Yeah, it does. So, you should at least 3-4 hours last meal, last food, right? And then definitely when you're exercising, you're stimulating. It's not, but you need good exercise to sleep well. So everyone's a little different. My husband is the exact opposite of everyone, right? So he will go running at 11 o'clock at night, and then he goes to bed and sleeps well.
Wow.
So so you just have to know what you do, because he doesn't like to exercise during the day. He loves the quiet of the night and enjoys that, and he runs at night.
And then he dreams about being chased, I'm sure.
He also drinks coffee before bed too, so he's just the opposite of what's wrong. So you have to know your own body, and have to and then I was so worried about him. He hasn't even asked me about his test scores, but I had checked it out. So he does some really not good things, but his oxidative stress is actually better than mine. So I was like, okay, I'll lay off of him.
What is oxidative stress?
So oxidative stress is what's happening in your body in terms of that repair and breakdown. So everything that's being thrown at you, you didn't sleep well, you're in bad mood, you ate a bunch of processed food, right? All of those, the pollution, all the stress and worries, all of that is stuff that's trying to break your body down. And the body wants to be healthy. It tries to repair all night long. During your sleeping, is trying to repair. So it's the oxidative stress is how much are you giving your body the tools, the cofactors, by eating non-processed whole foods, nutrients, all of that, and the sleep, right, and detoxify, to give it all of those cofactors to repair. So when your oxidative stress is low, that means your body is able to repair as much as possible, and your score is lower. And then when your oxidative stress is really high, that means you're not keeping up with it, and you're aging more rapidly. So we just I monitor your oxidative stress to see how you're aging. So try to do other things to lower it, to retard your aging.
And good sleep keeps you young.
100%.
Yeah. So the kudos to your husband for being the opposite of everything that's right. I don't know why I find that admirable, but I do in some kind of way here.
Well, but that's why you have the test to figure it out, and test don't guess. So right. I haven't done all the testing, but I've done some things just to know that the little things that he has done so far. I mean, he's got other things that needs to, but his oxidative stress the last time I tested was, needed a little bit of support. Wasn't zero. It was mild. He needed some support, but it wasn't in the red zone, right? Which what I thought it was.
Now, some people who are having problems getting to sleep sometimes take melatonin, and you say that's okay in the short term, but not the long term. Why is that?
No, because your body, you want your body to produce it. So if you're giving it extra, So some people are taking melatonin a lot, and when I measure it, it's really high, and it's not at the right time of the evening or when they need to actually get that. So it's not on that right rhythm. So, when you're sleeping, it's all the hormones and neurotransmitters and all of that is being regulated and producing it at the right rhythm, right? So you want your cortisols, right? First morning rise, you want the first 30 minutes, it does a sharp peak, rise up, and then it slowly drops down throughout the night, and then you get tired and you go to sleep, and then your melatonin starts to rise because it says you should be sleeping, and then it rises so that you're in your nice deep sleep, and then when you start to awake, then that's going to drop down, and then your cortisol is going to rise back up. But what people do is when they get that second wind at the night, right, they're going, and then instead of that cortisol dropping, the cortisol goes up and stress, and then your insulin doesn't work right because now it's going up, and your melatonin drops, and then it's all off, right? So you want that nice cycle to continue. And so if you're having to just add in some melatonin some other time to get you to sleep, you're just not on that right circadian rhythm and getting all the hormones and the insulin, and you don't want to be insulin resistant, and then storing it, and then all of a sudden your body is like going, okay, I think we're supposed to be resting, but now we can't really finish the process, and instead of actually eliminating things and using up the fuel that they have, they say we're going to just package it up and store it in this fat here. We're not going to let the fat go because we need storage, because we can't get rid of the stuff, and we're not sure which cycle we're in because the cortisol's up. I think we're supposed to be, we got to do some other work now, so we're just going to put it here for a while. Right?
So if someone walks into your office and you find that they have low melatonin levels and they're not producing it, what causes the lack of production in melatonin?
Well, I'm just, when you're off your sleep cycle.
Okay. So essentially it is that. It's a timing thing.
It's a timing thing, right?
Okay.
Yeah, as far as I know. I'd have to research that more detail, but it should be because your cortisols drop and your melatonin should rise during that timing when it knows you're supposed to be sleeping. Now, I don't know if there's any disease or any other reasons for that.
Right. Okay, but you would test for that.
Yeah.
And how do you sleep?
I sleep well. Yeah.
Do you dream and you remember your dreams when you wake up all day?
Sometimes I dream, sometimes I don't dream, so it's here and there. Yeah. It's
on your more stressful days, do you not? Because I imagine when you're in the emergency room, that's a high stress. That's your high stress job, is the emergency room. I'm guessing. Easy to fall asleep after a shift.
Yeah. To me, that's not stress.
Wow.
That's just like a day, I think, my stressors are more personal. Like finances, what's going on with your kids, what's for dinner.
The things that stress all of us out, right? Yeah.
What I'm making a good healthy dinner, all those little things, trying to juggle those things, and that type of thing.
Right. But work and watching other people, never mind. You do an important and valuable service for all of us in saving lives.
Thanks.
And for me, I just think, wow, saving lives has got to be stressful.
I think I've been doing it for 43 years,
right,
so
right.
it's what I'm good at,
right.
And so.
Let's talk about life expectancy. Is it possible that because of some of the changes to the National Institutes of Health and some of the misinformation about vaccines, could this country suffer a downgrade in our life expectancy? I think we're like at 72, 73 now for men, 76 for women or something?
Oh, we've already downgraded. Well, COVID caused us to downgrade.
Okay.
The overdose has downgraded, so I think we're at 71.9 or something like that. So we were at 78 before, 79 close to be at one point in 2014.
Right.
So we have dropped down after COVID. We have upped it a little bit, but we're not back to where we were. So, but the projections, no one actually knows, but on the functional medicine side, if metabolic syndrome, which is basically obesity, if that continues to rise, so diabetes that continues to rise, all of that is going to affect of our lifespan. So if we don't take control of that, yes, for the nation that we are, you would think that we have a higher life expectancy, but we don't.
I tried to put together in my head, as I was sitting in traffic the other day and got people honking behind me on this daydream and thinking about numbers. And for instance, and again, you're right when you say processed foods, they kill us faster. All of the things that are bad, high sugars, all of these things that kill us faster now. Yet, thousands of years ago, a few thousand years ago, we were eating all organic. We were eating what we caught. We were eating the fish we caught. We were drinking water. We were living to be 40. There were no processed foods. And technology, the fact that the technology came along, it helped us extend that 40 to a higher number.
Well, that's because of public health, right? So because of public health, and now I'm concerned about public health. So it's at those times that we did, clean water, right? So they didn't have sewers, so making sewers, telling people to wash hands, knowing the germ theory, which some don't follow.
Right.
So there's the germ theory, getting antibiotics. We are having resistance to antibiotics because there's overuse of antibiotics. We need to have judicial use of antibiotics. So public health is really what has prolonged our lives. So yes, eating clean, eating all these things, that takes care of the body, but if you don't do the public health things, like have clean water, know that you don't gonna have respiratory etiquette and share that with everybody, right? And then know when to take the antibiotics. If you have a virus, don't take the antibiotic. So many people take antibiotics the moment they get a sniffle or something, which is not the time. That's the time to rest, hydrate, and let the body and your immune system have a good microbiome, because 70% of your immune system is coming from your gut, and let it take care of it. Take herbs, echinacea or elderberry or whatever. Get zinc, vitamin D, vitamin C, and all of these things can help the body fight it off. And then if you're not fighting it off, if you're getting a fever or you're getting some sputum or you're having some pain, yes, then you can start taking antibiotics.
Antibiotics are for bacteria. Period.
Bacteria.
Not for viruses.
Doesn't work on viruses.
Right. Should you, when you get the sniffles, take an antiviral?
Well, yes, well, antiviral, definitely. Those are timing. They work best within 48 hours, and for COVID, within 5 days. So antivirals can help, but the problem is I don't prescribe many of them because most people come in a week later.
Right.
Then it's too late.
Right.
So I don't give them. So if I can catch you within the window, so that's the hardest part. The access to getting the antivirals is limited because people can't get into their primary cares, or if you need it, maybe if you've got some comorbidities and you want to have the Paxlovid on hand if you know you're going to have issues, or be able to have a communication with your doctor or know how the doctor's office works to get those antivirals right away. And then if not, then if you're doing okay, then you need to know when to move on to the antibiotics.
I'm going to ask you a question from Marcus in Newport Beach. Marcus asks, when sleeping, he sweats a lot. What about sweating while you sleep? What might that indicate?
Okay, well, there's many different things. So night sweats typically, if you're coughing, having fevers, things like that, could be TB. All right, so
tuberculosis.
Right, okay. Tuberculosis. So it depends on what other symptoms you're having. Depending on your age, it could be hormonal. Right? And
women going through menopause have night sweats.
And men too could be hormonal. Depending on your age, if you're young, if it's just hot, maybe your metabolism's high and you need to sleep in a cooler environment.
Right.
Because
turn the air on.
Yeah. You need to turn that down. So there's many different reasons why it could be. because sweating is part of your detox system. So if, let's just say he's young and healthy and there's no disease state, then his body is detoxing really well. He needs to be in a cooler environment so that he doesn't sweat as much because he's detoxing. So that's a good thing. So he's getting rid of, his body's doing what he's doing. You detox through the sweating, through breathing, by urinating and pooping, right? Right? So those are pretty much, and then whatever your liver's doing. So the liver's part of, and the goes into the stool and the urine, or not the stool, into the stool, the kidney goes through the urine, right? So most of the time you have some control over that. You don't do it in the middle of the night, but you're sweating all your organs. They're just doing that, right? So you might, if you are a profuse sweater, maybe you have overactive sweat glands. Right? So maybe that's an issue because you have anhydritis, so you have overactive sweat glands, and now you're detoxing through the night and you have overactive sweat glands during the night. I don't know. Or you have TB. I don't know. It could be one of them.
So TB is the one you don't want.
You don't want that one.
And it's funny you mentioned that. When I was a kid in Las Vegas, in order to work in a restaurant of any kind, had to go to the health department and get checked for TB to make sure you didn't have it. They give you a shot, and then if you get a little red spot or something, you've got it. If that red spot stays for more than a day or whatever, you've got it. Is the search for TB still like that?
Oh yeah, it is definitely. You still, if sometimes if you've had the vaccine, that little test is going to be positive, so then you'll need a chest X-ray. So that is still going on. We think in our public health system, hopefully that's still happening.
Right. We don't know. Since January 20th, we don't know anything about what's going on. They're hiding the facts of everything. You know, I haven't eaten chicken in months. I'm afraid to eat chicken because when last we heard there was a bird flu.
Yes.
There was N5, N1, or right. And
we don't get much news.
We don't get any news. When's the last time I had chicken? I can't even tell you the last time I had chicken.
You're not increasing your red meat though.
I may be, because on the nights where I don't, where I would normally have eaten chicken, I like fish. I love every fish that there is. So I do a lot of salmon. I do, sea bass, halibut, and then I realized the swordfish high in mercury, incredibly high in mercury.
Yes.
So not so great.
Yeah, my pescatarians always have to monitor them for the mercury content.
Right. So
they think they're doing well, and yet their mercury is crazily high.
What can mercury do to the human body?
I mean, it's neurotoxic, brain, a lot of different things. I can't list them all.
Right, but it's not good to have too high of mercury. Right.
Not good.
And then I pulled this midweek from another listener who just wanted to know that yes, she was aware you can't prevent all cancers, but are there cancers that are preventable with diet?
Well, so I'm curious about this. I mean, you can't prevent all cancers?
Can you?
What cancer can you not prevent?
I would guess pancreatic cancer is one of those that once you get it, you're dead. Boom.
Well, I mean, you can prevent it.
Okay, tell us.
Right?
Why
couldn't you prevent it?
I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to just merely
curious
pass
why
the question along.
well, pancreatic cancer is an aggressive cancer.
Right.
Yes.
So once you get it, pretty much it does.
Right. So it can be aggressive, but sometimes it can be cured, depending on what stage you can. So a lot of conventional medicine, what we do is early detection. So the earlier you detect it, the better that they can treat it. My whole thing is, why not prevent it? So, yes, this is the thing that I don't think people understand. You're fighting cancer every single day. That's what everything is about. So, everything can turn into cancer at any moment. It just depends on your body, your genetics, what's toxic. So, if you're a smoker and your genetics can't clear it, you're going to be at risk for lung cancer. Right? If you are in a city that has high radiation in that area, you're going to have more leukemia. Right? If you are in an area where and you eat more things that are estrogen dominant foods, like that have those soybeans and whatever, some yams and things that have high estrogen, and you have a mutation and you don't detoxify, you're going to be more prone to estrogen dominant cancers like breast and uterine and ovary, prostate, those types of things. So are they preventable? Yes. What is it caused by? It's caused by, and sometimes it could be, we think, so there's different theories about it. Right? So it could be an exposure to a microbe, or an exposure to an antigen, like they say in the vaccines, or some pollutant, whatever. So whatever it is that is in your body that creates abnormal cells. Right? So now you go to get a pap smear to see if you have abnormal cells. Right? If you have an abnormal cell, that's cancer. So then they do a scraping, or they do something, right? So in your body, you're aging, you have abnormal cells all over the place. If you're on that chronological timeline and you're past 30, you've got some abnormal cell.
On the downslide.
No matter what.
Right.
Now your body wants to be healthy and it wants to repair. So what are you doing to help your body to repair and make sure that those abnormal cells don't take over? So let's just say the abnormal cell, you start eating you become a diabetic. Now you have a lot of sugar floating around, and that abnormal cell says, oh wow, look at this, I got a lot of fuel. I'm just gonna go haywire.
So it feeds the abnormal cell.
And you're just gonna grow. And they're gonna grow faster, because that's what they do. They grow faster than your cells. And now you have cells that are going, oh, I'm tired, I'm senescence, I'm gonna not die off, but I'm just gonna hang out here, but I'm not gonna do what I need to do. I'm just gonna hang out here, and I'm gonna gum up the works. And the body says, oh, but we got this rampant little thing growing over here, I need you to clean it up. And they're like, oh, I can't even clean myself up. I can't even get out over there to go clean it up. And then the cells, the other one's like, oh, good, more fuel. And they're just eating up, taking up all the extra glucose and everything. That's obesity and diabetes. So that's why if you have diabetes, you have a higher risk of cancer, because glucose is the fuel for those abnormal cells. So that's why I put those continuous glucose monitors on you to see what foods that you eat could actually, that you don't process well. So somebody ate watermelon and their sugars went sky high. I'd say, well, you can't eat watermelon because you can't process that properly, and that's going to feed too many abnormal cells that you have in your body, and we don't want that. So if you can eat the watermelon and it doesn't go over 140, you can have watermelon. Okay? So those are the things that we're looking at, because yes, you can prevent all cancers if you live the right way, eat the right way, do the right things, and know genetically your blueprint and what you need to do. It's all preventable.
I love how passionate you are. I swear nothing makes me feel better than
that
knowing
like,
how much you care.
That is one message that I so want people to understand, is that it's not like just some abnormal thing that just happens randomly. Right?
We set ourselves up for it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Dr. Anita Wang, how do we find you? I want our listeners to be able to take advantage of all of this information on their own and individually.
So it's 949-734-8050. You can text me, message me, leave a voicemail, whatever. I have somebody actually answering the phone a couple of times now.
Nice. Congratulations.
They might actually get a call back.
Someone who answers the phone at your office.
They don't answer it, they'll call you back.
Okay.
Let's like clear that. We still don't answer. Well, maybe call back more timely. Or you can book a complimentary discovery call at anitawangmd.com, and you can always DM me on Instagram.
Always fascinating, always informative, and always, I can't tell you how happy we are that you're here.
Well, thank you. It's an honor.
Dr. Anita Wang, we'll look forward to talking to you next week, and I'm happy with the sleep I'm getting, and we'll see what our subject is next week. Thank you to the listeners for chiming in today. 11:47 the time.
Right.
Thank you. That was great.